Adoption policies throughout the country have become a really big topic, a really hot topic. Should you be open adoption? Should you be 24-hour hold? Should you have a full-blown adoption process? Those are questions. Those are questions that I get from people that I work with every single day. I'm Roxanne. I have 10 years in a nonprofit animal shelter that has government contracts. So we deal with animal control officers, the police, all the things. We deal with all the things. People surrendering animals. We have a low-cost spay and neuter clinic. The biggest question that I get is, how do you handle returns of animals? And how is your adoption process successful? There's a couple reasons why, in my opinion, that our adoption process works. And it doesn't always work. Believe me. There's always the time it doesn't work. First of all, the adoption process starts out with someone either sees an animal or a pet on our board in our building. They come in and meet a pet they saw online. We have them all on our website. We post them on Facebook all the time. So they either come in and see an adopted pet or a pet that's up for adoption, or however they get to the point, they fill out an online application. We have completely eliminated paper. If someone needs help with their online application, well, one of our staff members will sit down in the lobby and help them fill it out. That then is directly emailed to our adoption coordinator. We have one or two, depending on how busy we are. They work out of office. They do a background check, criminal background check. They do a HOA landlord check. They check for vet records if there are other pets in the home. Depending on the animal, not every dog needs a fence. Let me preface that. We do ask the question, do you have a fence? But not every one of the dogs in the shelter needs a fence. Some of them are quite perfectly great being walked, living in a condo, whatever. Not every dog is the same, which is why this process works so well. The adoption coordinator then will approve the adopter for that dog or a dog so they can come in and basically see any dog they want. We do not allow adopters or potential adopters to walk through our kennels and look at dogs. I've taken a lot of heat for that over the years, but there is a good reason for it. Dogs do not show well in kennels. And I don't care how socialized you make them, how many people you have walk through there and give them treats and all the bullshit I've seen online from different organizations that think it's a great idea to let people walk through kennels. And I understand open adoption shelters don't have a choice. We have a choice. Lots of shelters have a choice. If somebody wants to see a dog, a kennel staff person will bring them up and show it to them. They show much better. You're not going into their home and stressing them out. And the most important thing for us is animal care. So not stressing out the dogs is more important to me than, I want to look at all of them and I want to walk through. I don't give a shit. I don't care. We don't care. Cats is different, but right now we're talking about dogs. So we'll bring the dogs up, whatever. They apply. They're approved or denied. And we do have pretty stringent, if you have a breed restriction, if you have an HOA size restriction, if you have a criminal background, I don't care if you smoked weed when you were 18. I don't care if you had a traffic ticket. I care if you have a domestic violence, a violent offense, a recent serious drug charge. Those are the things that we're looking for in our adoption application when we do our criminal background check. Where do you live? We do not adopt to people who live in hotels. We do not adopt to people who don't live anywhere, basically. We do verify with landlords. So we will get a lot of people who they rent. Yes, they admit they rent because we look up property records, and they will say their landlord is their dad with the phone number, but the house isn't in the dad's name or the apartment isn't in the dad's name. Okay, this takes 2 seconds to verify. It's dumb. So now you've lied on your application. Yeah. So there's a lot of reasons why we deny adopters, and for good reason. Our job as shelter professionals is to protect the pets. And there are worse things than living in a kennel in a shelter. There are worse things than being euthanized in a shelter. Dog fighting rings, being tied up in the backyard to a doghouse, I could, the list is long, and I've seen many of them, and many of them have come into our shelter, and we have then properly adopted them. Now we're going to have mistakes. We're going to have misfires. We take back any dog we adopt. If somebody goes out and they say 3 days later, I can't do this, we bring it back. There's no questions asked. We do ask why, so that we can be prepared for the next and maybe fix it. Once you are approved, you get your dog, you pick your dog, we do a foster to adopt period, kind of like a trial period, kind of like a test run, where you take the dog home. Some people know immediately, this is my dog. Great. Some people don't. Sometimes they take on a more difficult dog and it takes more time. So we do we try to keep it 3 to 7 days. It can go to 10, it can go to 2 weeks, where they're fostering the dog with intent to adopt. We call it foster to adopt, or FTA. This works. It protects the animal, because these adopters know, I can bring this dog back anytime I want. I haven't made the commitment, and they can relax. We also send him home with a folder with decompression information, and we make them read it. We make them stand there and read it. We talk them through it. We also give them a name and number of our trainer. They get 1 free training session. They get lifetime group lessons with our trainer. We also have an in-house trainer. She just works 12 hours a week. She works on leash manners, sit, stay, going in and out of a crate. Very basic, very basic. But that very basic often is the difference between a dog getting adopted and showing well and not. It just is. So that's how we do it. And then once the adopter says, yes, I want this dog, we fill out the paperwork. We can either email it to them, text it to them. They can come back in. We've already taken a photo when they've gone out to foster, so we have a photo. Some people don't want their photo posted. We respect that. And then they adopt the dog. One thing we do a little bit differently than some rescues, even rescues and shelters, is when you see a post for a puppy, they say, or a kitten, they come with age appropriate shots. Okay. I feel that our responsibility is to make sure they've had everything that they need to have. So if we adopt out an 8-week-old kitten, it still needs to be spayed or neutered, because we don't do spay or neuter as infants. Pediatric spay and neuter, we don't do that. We wait till they're old enough. We set their appointments for their second set of puppy shots or kitten shots, their rabies shots. We recheck them for their fecal, for worms, and then we set their spay and neuter surgery. It isn't you adopt a dog or a cat from us and we dump you. Your appointments are set. Now, we've had some people who've come from far across the state, and they say, I'm going to go to my own vet. We say, great, we've got the name of your vet. Send us the records once you do it, and we will follow up. So there's a lot of things, little tiny things that don't cost a lot of money, that can make the difference in a successful adoption or an unsuccessful adoption. A happy pet or a returned pet. A dog going from a kennel to a bad situation, or a dog going from a kennel to a good situation. And I don't think that we take that seriously enough in some shelters and humane societies. We'll do an open adoption event at a car dealer, say. We won't, but they do. And you can actually walk up with your driver's license, fill out a form and say, I want that dog, pay for it, and leave. We have a rescue who sells puppies, I'm saying that, outside of a pet store on Saturdays. Puppies that she ships in from breeders, basically. That's not a rescue. So that's a topic for another day. But there are ways to make adoption successful. And they're not hard, and they don't take a ton of time. I have a short on this channel where people are picking up the best friends model with open adoption, where we're going to have a meaningful conversation with these people and find out the information we need. I call bullshit on that. And the amount of time that it takes you to have a meaningful conversation, they can fill out that online app and you can have somebody run it and you can find out everything you want to know while you're talking to them in the lobby, if that's what you want to do. But we need to be responsible as shelters, as rescues. We have committed to take care of those pets in our care and make sure that they get proper vetting and good adopters. Now, cats can be adopted without the foster to adopt period. And we do take any cat back that's adopted out. Say they get home and they don't get along with the cat, and after 2 weeks they're like, I can't take it anymore. They're fighting with my cat. My dog's chasing it. Whatever. Bring the cat back. Cats are a little bit different as far as the foster to adopt. The rest of the adoption process is exactly the same. It's just how we do it. And we didn't do it this way when I started 10 years ago. We were more of a come in, get your walk through the kennels, make everybody crazy. And then, oh, I want that dog, here you go. We don't do that anymore. We changed the policy, we changed the process, and it works. If you need or want to see this process, go to our website at The Shelter Shift. It's thesheltershift.com. And in the footer there is, or in the blog, you can see adoption process. And there is a free adoption process toolkit. It has our standard operating procedure. It has our adoption application. There's several things in there for you to use if you are looking to change your adoption process or look at a different one as an option. My name's Roxanne. I have been in the shelter world for 10 years. I would love it if you would share this video if you found it helpful.